Let me tell you something about the quiet weight people carry: the need to be liked. It's invisible, but it's heavy. We live in a world built on opinions, where every move, every word, every photo becomes a vote on who we are. And slowly, without even noticing, we start living for the mirror, not the moment. You see, approval is one of the oldest currencies in human history. Long before likes and follows, survival depended on acceptance. To be rejected by the tribe meant danger, isolation, even death. That ancient instinct still lives in us. Only now, the tribe has billions of eyes, and every one of them feels like a judge. We post, we speak, we act, and somewhere, behind every action, there's a whisper. Will they like me for this? But here's the strange paradox. The more you chase approval, the less of yourself remains to be approved. Because when you live through others' eyes, you slowly forget what your own vision looks like. Psychologists call this social evaluation anxiety, the fear of being judged. But deeper than fear, it's hunger for belonging, for affirmation, for the comforting echo of "you're enough." And yet, some people reach a breaking point. They realize that approval is a moving target, that no matter how many people applaud, it never feels complete. So they begin to turn inward. They start asking not, "Do they like me?" but "Do I like me?" That's where the psychology of freedom begins. It starts young, that subtle conditioning to please. A child smiles, and the room lights up. They learn, smile equals love. They obey, they're praised. They rebel, they're shamed. Slowly, approval becomes oxygen. And when they grow, they carry that dependency quietly into adulthood. Psychologists trace this pattern to what's called conditional self-worth, the belief that you are only valuable when others say so. It's not vanity, it's survival. Humans are wired to connect, and connection often disguises itself as compliance. But the modern world magnifies that instinct to a dangerous degree. Every platform is a stage, every scroll a comparison. You're not just living, you're being watched. And in that awareness, your sense of authenticity begins to fracture. People start crafting identities, not living them. They edit not just photos, but personalities. And slowly, approval becomes an addiction. Every like, every compliment releases dopamine, the same chemical triggered by gambling or sugar. The brain begins to associate being seen with being safe. But here's the catch: the same brain that craves approval never feels satisfied by it. It adapts. It wants more. It's a loop without a finish line. That's why some people find themselves exhausted after social interactions, overthinking every word, every gesture. They replay conversations, analyzing how they were perceived. Did I sound stupid? Was I too quiet? Too much? Too little? This constant mental replay is the mind's way of seeking closure, but there's no closure in a performance. What's missing is something simple: self-trust. The ability to believe that your worth isn't up for public vote. And the moment you realize that, something powerful happens: silence becomes freedom. Because approval may feel like safety, but it's really a cage, one built from other people's expectations. And the key? It's always been in your hand. Let's be honest, it's intoxicating to be liked. Validation feels like warmth, like belonging, like proof that you exist in the right way. But the moment you start depending on it, you lose control of your emotional weather. Someone's praise becomes your sunlight. Someone's silence becomes your storm. This is where the psychology of external locus of control comes in. A mindset where happiness depends on forces outside yourself. You stop being the author of your story and become a character waiting for applause. That's why rejection hurts so deeply, not because it's fatal, but because it shakes the illusion that you're safe in others' approval. But here's the truth: you can be loved by hundreds and still feel unseen. You can be praised endlessly and still doubt your worth. Approval doesn't fill the void, it feeds it. It tells you what to be, not who you are. And the more you adapt, the more invisible you become to yourself. Some people even shape their entire identity around perception. They wear what's acceptable, say what's safe, become who's admired. But beneath that polished version lives exhaustion, the kind that comes from performing your existence. There's a subtle rebellion that begins when you stop caring what others think. At first, it feels like loss. You might feel distant, misunderstood, even guilty. But then, clarity sets in. You realize that opinions change faster than truth, and your truth doesn't need an audience. Because peace isn't what's found in being liked, it's found in being real. And realness, in this world, is the ultimate act of courage. Breaking free from approval isn't about indifference. It's about balance, caring without collapsing. It's understanding that opinions are reflections, not definitions. The process begins with awareness. You start noticing how often your choices are shaped by invisible eyes. What you wear, say, post how much of it is truly you. Once that question lands, something inside you shifts. Psychologists call this self-congruence, when your inner world finally matches your outer one. It's the moment you realize authenticity isn't built on being understood, it's built on being honest. There's power in not explaining yourself. Power in walking away from validation loops. Power in realizing that you don't owe your peace to public opinion. When you stop performing, life slows down. You start hearing your own voice again, quiet but steady. You stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Am I proud of me?" That's not arrogance, that's healing. And slowly, you notice something beautiful. The people who truly see you don't need you to prove anything. They don't need the filtered version. They love the flawed one. That's what real connection feels like: peace, not performance. Maybe that's the hidden psychology of approval. It teaches us that validation isn't the enemy, dependency is. To be free doesn't mean you stop caring what others think. It means you care more about what you think, and that's enough. Because in the end, the loudest voice of approval should come from within. And when it does, the world's noise finally becomes silent.